Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the JMOR Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Well, hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is the day after Thanksgiving, and it's great to be with everyone. I hope you all had a very happy, healthy, safe, relaxing, and wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends just yesterday. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, if you're watching this later, well, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, whatever Thanksgiving was. So thank you very much, guys, for joining us tonight for the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We have a fantastic show. Let me give you the title of the show, all right? Show's title is Tech Mayhem Week, Bans, Hacks, and Sneaky AI, Series 4, Show 49. Do you know in just a few weeks, we will actually be at the end of Series 4, and we'll be back on December 31st. We'll be ending Series 4, and we'll be on Series 5. That's pretty cool. Pretty neat, right? Hopefully, that makes some sense to you guys. Hopefully that'll make some sense. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully this means a lot to you guys. The technology is changing. You know, there's a lot that's been changing this week. Does that make sense, everybody? I think a lot of times, you know, when we think about AI and we think about technology, like things get kind of crazy for some people. I do want to thank you if this is your first time joining me, or if you're coming back many times, I do want to say welcome back. It's great to have you back on the show with me. A big welcome back and a thank you to everyone. You know, if you're new here, don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I think, you know, you guys are going to really enjoy what we have to talk about tonight because there's a lot happening. And hopefully you'll learn something. And hopefully you'll be able to understand why things are going the way they are. And so I want to have you guys check out believemeachieve.com right after the show. You can catch my long form content, my short form content. It's a great place to be. If you're thirsty, guys, don't forget to get some to drink. Maybe it's hot, maybe it's cold, maybe it's a snack, maybe it's a fruit or beverage or something like that. So that's really important. And hopefully, you know, you'll be able to realize, you know, what we're doing here. And it's making the world a better place by educating people. All right. So without further ado, guys, I want to jump right into the show, if I may. So Tech Mayhem is here, and you're in the right place to decode it. Welcome to the JMOR Tech Talk Show with none other than myself, John C. Morley. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm an engineer. I'm a marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, graduate student, and lifelong learner. In this episode, Tech Mayhem Week, Bans, hacks, and sneaky AI. We're unpacking the wildest shifts in tech, from stealthy parking enforcement and teen social bans to cyber attacks, AI power moves, and streaming shakeups. Also, you can stay informed, protected, and ahead of the curve in our fast-changing digital world right here on the JMOR Tech Talk Show. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy a lot tonight, because I know you definitely will. And I know that a lot of you out there will probably say to me, John, like, what the heck is going on, right? What the heck is going on? So number one, New Jersey SafetySticks can snap your plate and auto ticket you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty cool. And this is happening in New Jersey. Yeah, that's right. So New Jersey streets just got smarter and a little scarier. These tall safety stick poles quietly watch the curb, clock your car, snap your license plate, and boom, kick out a ticket without a human officer in sight. It's frictionless enforcement powered by automation, raising big questions about privacy over policing by algorithm and how far cities should go in turning sidewalks into sensors and the grids that they have. So I think this is a very, very important thing. And hopefully, you're probably going to be saying to yourself, well, I'm going to be very careful where I park. And I think that's a very, very important thing to understand, that it's definitely about that. It's definitely about the fact that, you need to be cognizant of where you're going. Does that make sense? And maybe, just maybe, this is going to make sense for a lot of people. But the question you might be saying is, so how is New Jersey's SafetySticks giving tickets? Because I know this might still be a little bit cryptic for some people. So the system uses something really cool. It uses solar-powered cameras and radar to monitor no parking zones. It captures time-stamped photos of illegally parked vehicles for review by the local police. If a violation is confirmed, a summons is mailed to the registered owner of the vehicle. The devices are intended to improve safety by preventing illegal parking that can block intersections and crosswalks. So it doesn't directly give you the ticket, but it does put it in front of the power that be, that is definitely going to be very, very interested. It's going to be interesting, like what people are doing. And I know that a lot of you are saying that this is very crazy. But it's happening. But it's happening in a way that's trying to bring up things in the world. Because, people don't realize how these things are working, right? Garfield started installing the New Jersey SafetySticks, and they claim it's to reduce illegal parking. So things like, crosswalks and all kinds of stuff like that, right? Also, even things like, do not park here, like fire zones, right? Loading, unloading zones. So that could be tricky, right? If you park too long, then maybe you'll get a warning. I mean, just maybe you'll get a warning. If you get the unexpected parking violation in the mail, maybe a safety stick is to blame. But, the thing is, the cop still had to look at the records and then pretty much go from there. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it does. I'm hoping it makes a lot of sense. But this is what the world is doing right now. And I know that a lot of people are not happy with what's going on. And this is going to change a lot of people's view and perspective. All right. A lot of people's view. And hopefully people will understand. I think a lot of people get a little bit scared when it comes to technology. The reason they get scared with technology is because they don't realize the power of technology. Okay? They don't realize the power of technology. I think that's an important thing to understand. And so, again, we still have to have a human in the loop. That is so very, very vital. A human needs to be in the loop. Does that make sense? And I know that a lot of you people are saying to me, John, this doesn't seem like the right thing. But when we look at the consequences, even things like, they're putting cameras out there, even people like doing even speeding. Are they giving tickets for that? No. But this is something that they're hoping to gain some extra revenue by not having an officer have to go out there and check for something, right? They even have systems that give tickets on, parking violations for meters, right? That's not new. Fairlawn actually started that not too long ago. So you might be wondering something. I think it's a really cool thing. What towns in New Jersey are installing safety sticks? I mean, that might probably be a good thing I can share with you. So we've got Belleville, Dover, Garfield, Hasbrook Heights, Little Falls, North Arlington, and Rutherford. These towns are using, like I said, solar-powered cameras devices to monitor no parking zones. So Belleville has installed safety sticks at certain intersections to monitor no parking zones. Dover recently passed an ordinance and is installing devices now. Hasbrook Heights installed safety sticks along the boulevard. This was in April 2024, but now it's starting to kick up. The question is, will other states install safety sticks? That's a good question. It's uncertain. But again, they're doing this for money. And they say they're doing it for safety, but I think the real reason they're doing it for is definitely money. I think the most important thing to realize when it comes to, these technology, let's say, devices that are coming out there, is how are they being handling? Are they educating people that they're actually going to do this? I mean, I think when you do something like this, you've got to warn people, right? You've got to warn people of what's actually going on. I think that's a very, very big thing to understand. And I think being that you understand it, maybe you'll say to me, hey, John, I get it, but I'm not on board. And I'm not saying you're going to be on board. I'm just being honest. Number 2, Aussie teens are now needing bank-level ID to stay on Snapchat. What the heck's going on? Australia is turning social media into a gated space for teens, and Snapchat is racing to comply with bank-linked verification and selfie checks. On one hand, it's a bold play to keep kids safer online. On the other, it pushes platforms deeper into sensitive identity data. That could be a problem. The big question is, are we trading teen safety for a new era of surveillance-style sign-ins? I don't know, but I think it's definitely a concern for a lot of people, and maybe it'll make sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you think it's fair what they're doing? And I know that you're probably saying to me, John, like this is kind of nuts. This is kind of crazy. And I agree with you. But what is the other solution? Like, what is that solution? Is that solution about, doing something else? Is it about doing what we need to do? Is this really protecting the miners, or is it creating just some more smoke and mirrors? I mean, that's the name of the game, guys. What is it really doing? Is it really helping? And I know you're probably saying to me, John, like, how is it happening some places, not others? Well, Europe sets the standard for us. We all pretty much know that Europe sets the standard for us. We know that every single day. And I know that you're probably saying to me, "Hey, John, why is it the U.S. isn't doing anything?" I think the reason the U.S. isn't doing anything is because Europe is stepping in first. Okay, but if it does well in Europe, it could follow suit to follow in New Jersey and other states. Number three, guys, lawsuits say Meta hid proof its app harms teens. Meta is under fire right now from explosive court filings that claim the company buried internal research showing its platform can hurt teens' mental health. If true, it suggests a deliberate choice to prioritize growth and engagement over user well being. This could reshape how regulators, parents, and advertisers view social media accountability and might spark new rules on transparency. That's going to be pretty cool, right? Transparency, that's something I think a lot of people are missing. They're missing like what that is. And the concept of transparency is getting squashed with money and profits. And when I just think about that, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just terrible, right? It's absolutely terrible that this is happening like this. But it's because people are putting more focus on the money, and then they're willing to, play games with what should be transparent, but isn't, because they're getting payoffs for it. Now, there's lots of words for this depending on, what case it's in and what it's involving. But I think the big problem is that when people are not allegiant to themselves and to others, that creates a big ripple effect of dishonesty, of an integrity just breaking. Number four, guys. A judge may force Google, you heard that right, to spin off its ad tech arm. Google's ad machine is facing its most serious threat yet as a federal judge weighs whether to order a breakup of its advertising tech business. A forced spinoff would shake the entire online ad ecosystem, potentially lowering barriers for small players and forcing Google to rethink how it dominates the web's money flow. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. But the thing is, Google's kind of be like, oh, they're kind of like first saying like it's no big deal. But really, it is a big deal. See, first we thought that Google was getting let off the hook, right? We thought that a long time ago. But then what we discovered is Google's not really getting off the hook. Nope, they're not getting off the hook. In fact, they're getting in more trouble than they ever thought was possible. All right. I think that's a very important thing to understand, that that's happening that way. And if it's happening that way, then I'm telling you that it's about how things transpire. And things transpire based on something called, well, accountability. I can tell you that a lot of people that are going through these situations right now are, let's say, trying to figure out the way around it because, Google's got so much money. And up until now, I believe that Google was starting to buy their way through. I'm now starting to believe that Google's money doesn't really make a darn bit of difference anymore. See, we're starting to get judges that actually care about doing the right thing for our community, for our country, right? For our world. Number 5, a vendor hack may have exposed big bank client data. When one tech vendor gets hit, the blast radius can reach Wall Street. A cyber attack on a service provider to major banks may have exposed sensitive documents and client info, even though core banking systems stayed online. That really doesn't matter. It's a sobering reminder that your financial privacy is only as strong as the weakest link in a sprawling vendor chain. So, who are we talking about? I thought you would never ask. Some big issues, okay? Major banks, JP Morgan, Chase, Citi, and Morgan Stanley could have client data exposed after the tech vendor cyber attack. So a lot of these banks don't really understand what they should be doing. They just don't. They don't just get it, right? I don't know why they don't get it, but they just don't get things. And I want to tell you that they say they know stuff, but then you find out they really don't know stuff. And then it trickles down to all these different officers, stuff like that. And then bottom line, it hits compliance. And then once that happens and then clients see it, the reputation just goes down the drain, right? I mean, I think that's just something that is so, that's so crazy. And I want to tell you that it's something that is really, really cool because you see, this whole concept has changed. And it's changed now because of what's going on. And I'll tell you that this is about truth. And banks cannot, no matter what they do, guys, banks cannot lie. Maybe they can, let's say, prevaricate the truth for just a little while, but banks do not lie. Well, at least not for the long term, right? But if they lie, they get into a lot of sticky trouble. And the kind that, let's say, they cannot just end 1, 2, 3. They have to really sit down and be like, what the heck are we doing? Like, why are we doing this? And I think that's a big problem for a lot of people. They don't understand what this really is and how this really works. I think that can be a big problem for a lot of people because they just don't understand what's going on. But the truth of the matter is they're playing games. And I'm telling you guys that if people do not get on board with this stuff, this is going to become a major, major, major problem. I mean, a major, major problem. Why is it a major problem? I think it's a major problem because it has such a grand effect on so many people, right? It's not the fact that it's happening just one place. It's that it's happening all over the world. And when I say all over the world, that's a very, very big, big problem. I mean, a very big problem. A problem that could affect people all over the globe, right? But people try to play games. They try to make like they know what they're doing because they've got higher salaries than other people that actually know what they're doing. But hey, we have to appear like we know what we're doing because we're this bank, we're that bank. We can't be caught dead saying, we don't know what we're doing. Even if we don't, we're going to say we know what we're doing and we're going to lie. That's terrible. Just being honest. Number 6, guys, European Union plans loser data rules to fuel AI training. The European Union, long known as the privacy cop of the internet, is now considering erasing data access and cutting back on consent pop-ups to accelerate AI innovation. What the heck is going on, guys? Like, why are they even doing this stuff? Like, are they even being truthful or not? I think when we say not being truthful, I think that's a very, very, very big problem for a lot of people They don't understand, like, what that means or why it means something. I think the why comes out of, the fact that people are trying to do things. And the reason they're trying to do things is they're trying to make more money. I mean, that's not a surprise to you or to me, or it shouldn't be, right? It's the fact that they want to make more money, and unfortunately, in the process, they're gonna lie. They call it what do they call it? They call it basically covering up the truth. That's what they call it. All right. They call it covering up the truth. And they figure that maybe no one else is going to notice this. That's what they're hoping. No one else is going to notice, and that they're going to be able to just skirt right by. I mean, now the fact that European Union is now changing things because they want to allow AI innovation. Like, what the blank, right? What's going on? This could mean, ladies and gentlemen, smoother digital experiences and faster AI advances, but also far more personal data getting swept into training models. I think it's all coming down to money. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I've said that in the beginning, and we heard things with, New York Times and Wall Street Journal, I think it was, and Amazon. Now they're both kind of sleeping with each other, right? Uh, they're both doing deals together because, well, they're making money. And that's what it came down to for Wall Street. When they could make a lot of money off it, well, suddenly it doesn't really matter anymore, right? And the balance between user rights and data hungry AI is up for renegotiation again. I think, guys, this is a major, 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 major problem. I don't mean to say that it's minor, because it's not. It is major. And by major, I can tell you that it's something that a lot of people, they just don't get. They don't get the whole deal. They don't get, like, what's going on. And I want to tell you that this is very important for people to understand. People understand, like, what's going on in their world, what's going on with their data. Where is your data going? We talk about data from basically from beginning to grave. Like, where does your data go and live? And what happens to your data when you're finished with your data? Is there a process that actually gets rid of your data? I mean, you're saying, John, I have no clue whether there is or not. Well, maybe it's high time that you figure out whether your data actually has an endpoint, or is it possibly just going to be causing problems? And I think the answer to that is yes, it's going to cause problems if we don't know what our data is doing. Okay. And I say this to you because I want you to be aware of what's going on in your life. And if you're not aware of it, what you don't know can hurt you. What you don't know can hurt you. And this is a serious, serious problem, guys. And it's coming down to one main thing. You know what that is? That's money. It's coming down to money. And you might say, gee, John, well, no, it's not. And I'm here to tell you, yes, it is. It's coming down to money. And if you don't believe me, then you're going to be one of the ones that's actually going to get in trouble, because you're like, oh, this is never going to happen. But I'm here to tell you something, guys. There is a lot going on in our world. All right. And if you understand that there's a lot going on in our world, then hopefully you'll be able to understand, like, why things are happening a certain way. And I think the reason they're happening a certain way is because it's education. They're purposely not sharing how things work. I was talking about Disney today, and something very interesting about Disney. So Disney has something called, I think it's called Smellinators. You might know this. So Disney is all about marketing. If you didn't know this, they're all about big, big, big time marketing. Okay. And with this big time marketing, they have something called Smellinators. So when you go to the park, they actually have sense of, like, different food being piped out, even way before you're even near the play, like, just to get you to want to go there. And it's very ingenious how they do this. I think Disney was one of the very first ones to do Smellinators. But imagine going somewhere and you're, kind of getting drawn off somewhere. I don't know. I think that's a very interesting thing. And I think a lot of times people don't realize how they're being manipulated. I mean, different things that happen in life. Somebody gets hurt. Disney doesn't even want to acknowledge that happened there. Like, they have all these things that they do to make sure that, they're going to be like the best. Okay. But they're manipulating people. Okay. Pretty important, right? I think some people don't understand it. All right. And the reason people don't understand that is one main thing. You know what that one thing is? They don't understand it because they've been captivated by what we call, quote unquote, Disney magic. So Disney has basically this money machine, this whole plan they have. But imagine going to a park, right? And now you're getting led to do something because of a smell. Because of a smell. Like, that's just like, that blows me out of the water, guys. Like, really blows me out of the water. And I want to tell you that when you know about something, you're more conscious of it, right? But when you don't know about something, it's like it's something very easy to manipulate you. Okay? I think that's something that we have to be very concerned about. And if we're not concerned about it, then how is it that we can allow this to happen? Right? How? So Disney has been doing this for years. And I know I've been with Disney when I was very young, and I went through the Disney Institute, and I went through some of the Disney classes. And I can tell you guys that, they're all about the money. There's a lot of other places around that too. Somebody once called their theme park, not a theme park, they called it, what do they call it? They called it a psychology laboratory, because they're always experimenting on different things, testing new things. I mean, just even how they do characters, right? They don't roll characters out into something big until they see how the character is, let's say, greeted in the park. And if the character is greeted well, then maybe they'll put that into a film. And then if that works, then they'll roll it into action figures that they can buy. I mean, everywhere you go, everything always ends in a gift shop. Have you ever noticed that? Or is it just me? So everything ends in a gift shop. And, they want you to buy something. They have this club. I think it's called the Disney 31 or 33 Club. I don't know if you've heard of the Disney one, the 33 Club. So the Disney, it's called Club 33. Club 33 basically is a club that you're invited to by invitation only. It's a private membership club founded by Walt Disney, offering various curated experiences for its members, including access to exclusive dining locations at the Disneyland Resort. You can express interest in a Club 33 membership. You fill in a membership interest form. And if you have not spent enough money, well, then you're probably not going to hear from them. They'll say something like, we appreciate your interest in Club 33 at Disneyland Resort. Club 33 may contact you as a membership opportunities become available. They only give it to the people that are spending. What's the dress code? All individuals are required to wear appropriate clothing at all times while at the Club 33. The dress code policy, they have a whole dress code policy, guys. To preserve the customs and traditions of Club 33, all individuals, including, without limitations, any membership, photo ID holder, dependent, child, chaperone, accompanying guests, and an unaccompanied guest, are expected to conduct themselves in accordance with the traditional concepts of dignity and mutual respect held by Club 33. In keeping with these traditions and the intended atmosphere of Club 33, all individuals, including, without limitation, any membership, photo ID holder, despondent, child, chaperone, accompanying guests, etc., unaccompanied guests, are required to wear appropriate clothing at all times. Any and all individuals who are not appropriately dressed will not be allowed, basically, to access Club 33 venues or Club 33 events. The prior member will be held responsible for the attire of the other individuals. So there is a grand salon dress code, Dress code for the Grand Salon, it's business casual attire or a higher standard of class. There is the salon lounge dress code, required dress code for La Salon. Smart casual that requires an elegant yet relaxed style. Photography and videography policy. Still photography is permitted only within the public area of Club 33. The Grand Salon, La Salon Nouveau, and 1901 Lounge, with the exception that still photography inside the men's and women's restrooms is strictly prohibited. Obviously, we can understand that. Any and all recording, filming, videotaping, streaming, and the like are prohibited throughout all of Club 33. So you might want to ask, and it's a good question, so what does it look like inside Club 33? So Club 33 is this very exclusive club that you have to get into by invitation only. So again, they have they have a nice dining room and things like that, elegant dining room that you can sit at and eat. Member only lounge. They have a unique entry door. Entry to the original Disneyland location is via a distinctive antique elevator. In Disney World, it's actually another door that you just knock on. The members' lounge feature magical details such as paintings on the wall that move and change, and instruments that appear to play on their own. Art and history. The club is decorated with original artwork, sketches, and historical artifacts related to Walt Disney and the park's history. Now, remember, guys, Disney is all about engineering, but they don't call it engineering. They call it Imagineering. That's basically somebody who imagines and is also an engineer. They call it an Imagineer. Yeah. Number 7, guys. Senators want FCC cyber rules kept tough after telecom hacks. After massive hacks hit big telecom providers, some U.S. lawmakers are pushing the FCC not to soften its cybersecurity requirements. Industry groups argue the rules are burdensome, while cities and critics say rolling them back now would be invite for more foreign attacks. It's a tug of war between regulation fatigue and national digital resilience. I don't know, guys. I think that's a little bit crazy. But I want to tell you that this is something that is causing mayhem. And I will tell you that it's all about, a perception. But this perception is a very, very big, big problem. I know what you're probably saying. I know you're probably saying that this is something that's crazy. It's not crazy. It's something that's happening, but they're trying to make people believe that it's not happening. All right. I think that's something that is the hardest point for a lot of people to understand is when something is not the way you think it is and people try to make you believe it is. Like, I don't know. That's just kind of crazy, if you ask me. Number 8, the 2020 Twitter hacker must repay $5.4 million in Bitcoin. The mastermind behind the 2020 Twitter account hijacks targeting big names and pushing crypto scams is now being ordered to repay millions in Bitcoin. It's a high-profile signal that flashy social engineering schemes eventually catch up with you, and that law enforcement is getting more comfortable chasing criminals across the crypto frontier. See, everybody thought that crypto was going to be this world that you could just hide in, but people are realizing that it's not. People are starting to get in trouble, and same thing would happen in school, right? Everybody does what they want, but then once something happens when people get in trouble, then people start backing off, right? What happens when people speed on the parkway? Maybe you're not speeding, but you're just doing barely the speed limit, and then suddenly everybody slows way down because they've seen a couple cops or something like that. I think that's a very important thing to understand, and I think a lot of people don't understand the fact that this is something really, really crazy. Crypto is something that has transpired. And I think sometimes people think that you're just going to be able to just get whatever you need to through crypto. Crypto is like this magic solution. It's not. You know, I don't know, guys. I think sometimes people don't realize like what it is. And I want to tell you that this concept, what they're talking about here, crypto, we heard about it years ago, right? But now it's starting to become, well, something interesting because people are getting in trouble with law enforcement, right? That's important to understand. Very, very important to understand. And if it's important to understand, then maybe you'll start to realize what people are doing. Right? That's what it is. And so when people think about this whole crypto, it's starting to make people rethink about it in a different way. That's the whole concept that I'm getting out of it, is that it's making people think about it in a completely different way. And Pope Leo warns lots of people, but mostly the kids, don't let artificial intelligence, especially all students, do your homework. In front of thousands of students, Pope Leo drew a sharp line. AI can be a powerful learning tool. And that's what I've always said. AI is a tool. But it shouldn't replace your own thinking and your effort. This is a message that lands at the intersection of ethics and education and technology, challenging young people and other people back in school too, who use AI as an assistant, not a crutch. In a world where shortcuts are just a click away, it's easy to see why this could get people into trouble, because they would stop thinking. They would stop thinking. And if they stop thinking, then you know what happens? Your brain cells start to like fade. So you have to make sure that you are constantly using your brain all the time, guys, not just once in a while. That's important, right? I think when we take a look at that, what Pope Leo was saying, he's trying to get people to rationalize the fact that tools are all around us, right? But it's our free will and choice to do something. I was talking to somebody today, and I said to them, just because you can make somebody do something doesn't mean you should. And this was an issue about somebody paying a lot of money to get something to stop. And I said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Person didn't get back to me, but lots of other people thought about that. And they were just like in awe. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Number 10, guys. Paramount wins most UK Champions League rights from 2027. The streaming wars are moving deep into sports, with Paramount Plus scoring most of the UK rights to Champions League matching starting in 2027. Fans will now juggle platforms as Amazon Prime holds on to some top Tuesday games, while older players pivot to older leagues. Live sports are quickly becoming the sharpest weapon in the fight for your subscription dollars. Pretty sad, right? The cable companies just kind of like, they're just kind of like done. I mean, they're here, but nobody's really like using cable anymore. They're all just streaming things. Number 11, guys. CNN has yanked its content from Apple News. Wow. That was a pretty big blow that they did that. Yes. Open Apple News, and now suddenly one of the biggest global news brands is gone. CNN pulling out of the aggregation deal underscores how even news distribution is now high stakes. Platform poker with licensing revenue share, and control over audience relationships all on the table. It's another fracture line between legacy media and tech giants. But what's really going on, guys? Like, what is really going on? And I think a lot of people are starting to ask the question, like, what the hell? Like, what's really going on, guys? What is going on? And I think that's a very, very big problem for people. You know, people got to think about that. People are confused. But I've got to tell you, it's something that we've got to think about, right? That's an important piece, right? A very, very important piece. A piece that probably changes the way, things go. And most people don't realize what's going on. Most people don't realize it. Number 12, guys. US, UK, Australia is sanctioned Russian cyber hosting firms. A coalition of Western governments is now going straight at the infrastructure behind ransomware. Well, it's about time. Sanctioning Russian bulletproof hosting providers accused of sheltering criminal groups by freezing assets and restricting business. They're betting that hitting the money pipes and servers will slow down attacks on hospitals, schools, and businesses worldwide. I mean, where were these people before? Like, were they sleeping? Like, what the heck was going on? Right? I mean, I think that's a problem for a lot of people today, because, once you shut down the money or the revenue, then things suddenly get, they get a little bit, they get tight. They get very, very tight. And I know when you think about these things, you probably are saying to me, "Hey, John, like, why are they doing it?" Well, they're doing it because they can. They're doing it because they got a monopoly. Okay, and this monopoly is all about, power, but it's about money. It's about money. It's definitely about money. And we're seeing it more and more with public companies, private companies. They're just trying to do what makes the money. They're not doing what's necessarily right for the people or for society. I mean, that's a big problem, guys. Right? A very, very big, big problem. And I can tell you, like, what's happening. And it's really shaping and changing our world. All right. And it's getting worse. When people are drifting because of money, okay, because of money, and they're drifting, that's what's causing a big, big change for people. A very, very big change for people. Number 13. Australia is forcing platforms to shut all under 16 accounts. And Australia isn't just talking tough on youth safety. It's ordering platforms like Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, and more to close all under 16 accounts by a firm deadline or face, well, major fines. Now, that could radically change teen digital life and force a wave of new age verification systems that other countries might copy or challenge. We talked about this before, but European Union is loosening other things. So, like, what are they doing? What is making sense? It's like there's no rhyme or reason to how they're doing stuff. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing I can say to you guys. The biggest thing I can say to you. And number 14. The AI godfather, Jan LeCun, is leaving Meta. Wow, for a new startup. One of the most influential minds in artificial intelligence, Jan LeCun, is stepping away from Meta to build a new company focused on advanced machine intelligence that learns more like humans. He's openly skeptical of overhyping today's large language models and wants to push the field into its next chapter. When the godfather of quote unquote AI pivots, the entire industry pays attention. So it's like different people right now are trying to do things, but then they're not necessarily, they're not necessarily getting anywhere, right? And the reason they're not getting anywhere is because they're putting a lot of propaganda out there. I mean, let's just talk about that for a moment, right? People that pay money definitely get people's attention. But how long do you hold people's attention for? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? You get their attention because of the shock value or because of the noise. But you know what happens? You don't get it continuously. Okay? I think that's a big thing we have to seriously think about. All right? We have to seriously think about that. I know you're probably saying to me, John, this doesn't make sense, but I'm here to tell you that it makes a lot of sense. All right? It makes a lot of sense, and we've got to be careful with what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but you can catch the latest episodes that release on BelieveMeAchieve.com. You can watch the JMOR Tech Talk Show. You can watch Inspiration of Your Life. You can watch other short-form content, long-form content, reels, articles, and so much more. And you know what? You could do this 24 hours a day. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? 24 hours a day that you could do this. And I know a lot of people out there saying to me, John, like, I can't keep track of everything happening in my life. Well, you don't have to. That's why you have the JMOR Tech Talk Show. I give you the latest trends that are out there. And how do you check out these trends if you missed any of the shows? No problem. You can just go to BelieveMeAchieve.com. And you should go there for all unique content and deeper dives into the stories shaping your digital life. See, podcasts that we have, they release very quickly. And it's 24 hours a day of the show airing. Again, BelieveMeAchieve.com. You can find our video. You can find our podcast-only audio. And I think when you do this and you start to be a person that's looking for the truth, because that's what we're about. We're about the truth. Some people can't handle the truth, Google, etc., right? They don't like the truth. But the truth is what sets you free. And the truth means you don't have to lie. That's a pretty good concept, right? And don't forget, guys, visit BelieveMeAchieve.com. You can do it 24 hours a day. It is my unique exclusive content resource. Of course, lots of things, including tech insights that you won't find anywhere else. And I think if we can understand something a little bit more than when we first started listening or watching, we become a little bit smarter. And each time we become a little bit smarter, we grow. We create more pathways from the left side of our brain to the right side of our brain. And the more pathways we create, the smarter we become. So you don't get smart by just sitting and doing nothing. You get smart by analyzing things, by solving problems, by asking what if, right? I've asked those questions like what if, right? So today we're all about explosive tech shifts, cyber showdowns, and the AI power players. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they are redefining our world. And what's going on with the European Union, I don't know if they're playing 100% truthful, but I can tell you one thing. I know that they are definitely governed by money. When I see now that they're so into AI and how it works, they know it's about money. And even though they're not really supposed to get any money, they're a not-for-profit, somehow somebody's benefiting. Maybe it's a officer on the board that has a company. I don't know. But the European Union is not supposed to benefit from this. And so these power players are redefining our future, right? And my goal is to put these into the tech talks here that you guys can all understand, break the language down to you, explain the cybersecurity, the future tech. Like I said to you, it's not a question of if, but when you will get hacked if you're not properly protected. We've got major banks that are getting cyber attacked, not once, not twice, 3 and 4 times. We've got municipalities, boroughs, cities that are having their entire government records being hacked by ransomware and other things. And some towns are just paying the money. That's not the right thing. But you should have a backup. A lot of these places are realizing, hey, you know what? We're kind of messed up. We don't have a backup. So maybe you should. Maybe you should figure out how to have a backup, right? I think that's a very important thing to understand, that you need to have a backup. Does that make sense, everybody? So we talk about future tech. We talk about tech news here. We talk about new iPhones when they come out. We talk about smart homes, AI trends. This is Podcast Life. I give you tech updates, latest tech buzzes, the digital future, and where things are going with my life, your life, and how sometimes a confusion can cause an anarchy or a mayhem. But when we just have a little bit of perspective and we understand why something is happening, it gets us to not be all over the map. Does that make sense, everybody? I hope it does. So when you get frustrated, take a step back. Ask yourself, all right, why am I frustrated? I'm frustrated because I don't understand. I'm not frustrated because of the technology. I'm frustrated because I don't understand the technology, how to work the technology, right? I had someone the other day who was trying to park their car, and they were all frustrated because there were all these smart meters. They even have a spot you can put coins in, but they were totally frustrated by what was going on. Absolutely insane. And I think sometimes we do this to ourselves. We cause ourselves to get so wrapped up that we don't know, what to say. We don't know what to say. And that what to say is sometimes we just need to listen. And we need to realize that we might not be right. And there might be a better way to do something than we're familiar with. And many humans don't like that because people never like to say that they're wrong. But I'm here to tell you, I'd rather be wrong and learn the right way than to go through life being wrong the entire time. That's pretty cool. Guys, have yourself a great rest of your evening and weekend. I'll catch you guys on the next show, which will be, December 5th. Have yourself a great one, everyone, and be well.